Oh, hello there! I was just practicing for my training regimen. Welcome, I am Chad Sex Penis, slayer of anthropomorphic animal pussy. And as you know, the Sex Penis never rests in his unending quest to finally lose his virginity. Well, hopefully not an unending quest, but that's why today I've got my eyes set on a special prize. And that is why today we are journeying to the far-off land of Equestria, where the My Little Ponies live, said to be the in all of the furry fandom. But not just any pony will do for the glory of the Sex Penis. There is but one who deserves my love. Fluttershy, haste be to my arrival, for thou wilt, Anyway, we should get going. I will now teleport us there with a forbidden jutsu I recently learned. Double deck technique. Teleport! Ha! The forbidden jutsu was a success. My double dick techniques always work. Fluttershy, thy love is not far off. Haste be the day that we...
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
What the fuck? Why? What the fuck? What the fuck is this? What? No! Why is it like this?
Friends, we seem to have gotten ourselves in quite the predicament here. I was under the impression that Equestria was filled to the brim with sexy horse girls, but, seems that I am confronted with, not that, unfortunately. What? Who are you? Be careful, my friend. She might be a threat.
私はあなたと戦いたくないのです。実際、私はこの場所で何が起こったのかを伝えるためにここに来ました。
In that case, can you tell me why Equestria is not as I remember?
恐るべき悪がエクエストリアに降りかかった。友達は魔法の統治から数百年が経過しました。今、これらの偶定類の居住が徘徊しています。マイリトルポニーは崩壊寸前だ。
Your words, though they sting me so, ring true. Well, in your professional opinion, how will we handle this threat?
このシリーズを救うことができるのはフレンドシップイズマジックの復活だけではないかと心配しています。選択肢は一つだけです。過去にタイムスリップしてマイリトルポニーをかつての栄光に戻しましょう。
Time jutsu, but this could destroy the very fabric of the universe. My friend, this is far more dire than I had first anticipated. But quest for the Sex Penis to lose his virginity shall not be forsaken. Very well then, Enchantress. You will teleport me and my friend into the past, where we can finally, I can finally lose my virginity to a, fellow cartoon horse that is very normal for adults, to obsess over.
非常によく気を引き締めてください。黒魔術の技、タイムトランスポート。
Now, I know what you might be thinking. What the fuck was I smoking when I wrote this intro? What I mean to say is, if the last segment did not make you at least mildly uncomfortable, you might have a few questions. Perhaps you may have such a valid question as, where did it all go wrong? How did Hasbro manage to save a dying toy brand and then simultaneously kill it again in the same span of 10 years? What was My Little Pony's secret to being so successful in the 2010s, and how has Hasbro never been able to replicate that? And I think all those are great questions, but in order to answer them, I think we need to go all the way back to when it all started. 2010. Yeah, I know it started in 1983, but like it was arguably more popular in the early 2010s and just... You know what, I'm gonna end up actually cutting this segment from the video. Now, depending on whether you're a millennial or Gen Z, you might be nostalgic for a different era of My Little Pony. And while My Little Pony did have a defined audience and identity before the early 2010s, nothing would compare to the cult-like status it would achieve afterwards. And it's all because of one woman. You probably know her name. Say hello to Lauren Faust. Now, what you have to remember about Lauren is that she is a creative first and a marketer second. In fact, some may argue that she isn't even a marketer at all. But when Lauren was brought on board to be the lead creative director on a new generation of My Little Pony, the franchise would never be the same. In 2010, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic first aired on television, and well, The rest is history. A cult-like fan base almost instantly metastasized around the new series, bringing in tons of new fans. Fans that would later be known as some of the most degenerate people on the internet. And I would know because I'm a Sonic fan and a brony in the year of our Lord 2024. Yeah, the less I say about that, the better. My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic would run all the way from 2010 to 2019, spanning 9 seasons. That's actually kind of unheard of for a cartoon show by today's standards. But the demand for it was just that high. And the weird thing that Friendship is Magic managed to do that no other generation of My Little Pony has done was attract an audience so far departed from its targeted one. That being, while previous generations of My Little Pony would traditionally appeal to young girls, Generation 4 of My Little Pony appealed to a group of people that I can only describe as, well, you know 'em, bronies. Love 'em or hate 'em. And bronies, while being at times cult-like and certainly very, very strange, even depraved, depending on who you ask.
Still better than Sonic fans, though.
And these so-called bronies began to make up a large chunk of My Little Pony fans on the internet. And you can imagine when Generation 4 was canceled in 2019 that they'd be a little upset.
What an asshole!
Schadenfreude is magic.
Try harder! What kind of life lessons are these?
That's why there's no sarcasm allowed in this react. We all have to be equally upset.
I am so angry right now.
And the years leading up to 2020 were arguably the height of My Little Pony's fame. Hell, even Equestria Girls, the far-departed spin-off from Friendship is Magic, was well received. Would Generation 5 live up to the hype? Would it be somehow even better than Friendship is Magic? But the cracks in My Little Pony Generation 5 would begin to show before the movie even came out. The first of which being Lauren Faust's announcement that she would not be in creative control of My Little Pony Generation 5. In fact, she had no affiliation with the project whatsoever. And the fact that the woman who had revolutionized My Little Pony, who had turned it into something completely different, was not going to be affiliated with the franchise going forward struck a deep sense of dread into all of our hearts. But, I mean, you don't need Lauren Faust to make a good My Little Pony show, right? I mean, it can be good without her, right? Right?
We will spread love! Give hugs!
Fry brains!
Huh? Wait, what?
Yeah, I'm a unicorn and we're evil!
The ponies are all supposed to get along, remember?
My mom says the Pegasi and unicorns try to eat up all the Earth ponies by zapping them with lasers and frying them to a crisp. So the Earth ponies kick their butts in an epic battle, and if they ever try to come back to Maritime Bay, we'll kick their butts again!
It's totally made up. Pure fiction.
Those are lies! Hitch, tell him!
Well, that is kind of what our teacher said in history class.
Ooh, ladies and gentlemen, we are off to a bad start. First of all, racism?
You cannot just go trotting off without my permission. Especially not here. Because you are brainwashing their minds with all of your, nonsense. You know, you're an Earth pony, Argyle. You should really start acting like one.
We're a totally peaceful racist group.
Yes, you heard right, bronies of all genders and ages. One of the main themes in My Little Pony Generation 5 is, well, racism. Yes, yep, it's racism, plain and simple. And I guess those 4chaners really were onto something, huh? Now, I'm not opposed to children's media tackling complex and mature issues. I mean, after all, this is what I praised Sonic Adventure 2 for. And it was just about the only thing I praised Sonic Adventure 2 for.
Boo, you suck!
But if they can handle this topic in a clever and mature way, then I see no reason why it should not be handled. Spoiler alert, this is not how they handle it at all. Now, I originally planned on doing a play-by-play of the movie and dissecting it bit by bit. But unfortunately, the disastrous launch pad of Generation 5 is far from the only thing wrong with modern My Little Pony. But to start off, the film My Little Pony: A New Generation was far from the ambitious start that Generation 5 needed. Aside from the intro, the main cast of Generation 4 have no presence in Generation 5. These characters were just so beloved, and it was part of what made Friendship is Magic as successful as it actually was. It should have been an easy win to just take these characters and port them over to the new generation. And this sense of missed opportunity is only compounded by the fact that our new crop of ponies, the titular new generation, are bland, sterile, and lifeless, instead opting to be cheap knockoffs of the real thing. I don't think I need to draw a similarity between Ozzy and Pinkie Pie. The only difference is that where Pinkie Pie is actually funny, Ozzy just feels like a dull, pale echo of something that has already been done much better. Think back with me for a second of the original cast of Generation 4. Each character had something flavorful and new to distinguish themselves from the other cast. I don't really think I'd be confusing Applejack with Rarity anytime soon. In fact, they're almost complete opposites. And while I'm not trying to say that the characters of Gen 4 are some deep and inspired creative well of genius, but they are, at the very least, distinctly and entertainingly written. If I were to describe Generation 5's cast in a single word, it would be homogeneous. All the characters just kind of blend together. They're not distinct or interesting. They just don't have any personality beyond minor quirks that are meant to serve as a substitute for good writing. But let's just circle back around to the racism thing, because it might be the worst thing to come out of Generation 5. Now, just to catch you up, in Generation 5, unicorns, Pegasi, and Earth ponies all hate each other with a burning passion. This is a stark contrast to Friendship is Magic, which had all three races living in harmony with one another. And since Generation 4 and Generation 5 take place in the same connected universe, this makes absolutely no sense. After all three pony races hate each other to the point that they have isolated themselves in different parts of Equestria. And the worst part is that no explanation is offered until halfway through the movie. And let me tell you that it would have been better if they would have left it unexplained. I will come back to this. But I mean, instead of My Little Pony: A New Generation, they should have called this movie My Little Pony: Racism is Not Magic. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'll be here all night. Remember how I said that complex and mature themes like racism can be explored in children's media if they are done so in that kind of way? Yeah, they just don't do that here. This is, without a doubt, the worst portrayal of racism I have ever seen in children's media, and boy oh boy, does it get worse. And let's not pretend like complex topics like this are new in children's media. Just look at this old book called, The Sneetches by Dr. Seuss. Even I had this book as a kid. It tackles racism in a very profound and mature way, and in a way that kids can understand. So what are we supposed to do with the revelation that the reason why there's so much racially motivated hate in Equestria now is because of a magic friendship crystal that was broken under 100 years ago?
So, if we put them back together,
magic will return?
And all three pony kinds will get along again!
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally can't. But I've considered it.
Are you trying to tell me that the only reason why people are nice to each other is because of a magic MacGuffin that people have no control over? This is without a doubt the worst message you could give to young people. That their responsibility to be kind to other people and to treat them with equality is dependent on forces outside of their control. This is problematic for a number of reasons, but is just bullshit as far as writing is concerned. Because by this logic, none of the main five should be able to make friends because the magical friendship crystal is broken. This is later retconned / corrected in My Little Pony Tell Your Tale, but as I said, we'll get to that. And there are quite a few problems with this film that really extend to all of Generation 5. For example, the actually quite pitiful attempts at writing humor.
Yikes, that's gonna be a lot of paperwork.
I am not fucking drunk.
Have a wonderful, special, fantastic day. Oh, hi, Discord. Want some cake?
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
And, you know, the general lack of good writing and the homogenized style of the new music don't help this at all. But I mean, outside of that, what is the real problem with Generation 5? You see, I've already pointed it out. All these things, the distinct and colorful characters, the world building and lore, the amazing voice acting, the wonderful, unique music, the clever writing, this is all what made Generation 4 so beloved. But when you take that away, what do you have? Well, you have whatever My Little Pony was before Friendship was Magic. You have a dying toy brand struggling to stay afloat at the turn of a decade. Everything that made My Little Pony so special to an entire generation of people is no longer present in My Little Pony. But you'd think that maybe there's an easy solution here, right? Do a little backtracking, put in more of the things that people liked about Generation 4 into Generation 5. Right?
You'd like to think that, wouldn't you?
Because Generation 5 gets way, way worse. Because up until now, the only thing I haven't criticized My Little Pony: A New Generation about is its animation style. And while I don't prefer it over the 2D animated style of Friendship is Magic, it is genuinely a pretty good art style in its own respect. But what happens when you take what is possibly the only redeeming quality of Generation 5 and you destroy it? You get a little show called My Little Pony: Tell Your Tale. And holy shit, if these designs look plagiarized, then they probably are. And while you'd think that a 2D animated show of My Little Pony would be a return to form, it is anything but that. Not only did they double down on everything that made Generation 5 so much worse than Generation 4, they replaced the art style with one that I can only describe as really fucking generic. My Little Pony Generation 5 in its 3-year run has already been a catastrophic disaster, and it's one that leaves the future of the franchise in dire straits. And, you know, I don't want to sound like a douche and say that everything that's older is automatically better, but in this case, it is. And just so I don't get your hopes up, I'm not going to say that My Little Pony is definitively going to die unless we bring Friendship is Magic back. But, you know, I would not be complaining if they did. It would be easy money for them, in my opinion. But what Hasbro really needs to do is evaluate what made Generation 4 good and just apply that to Generation 5. Everything that made Generation 4 great could also make Generation 5 great. Remember how I said that Lauren Faust was a creator first and a marketer second? Well, she ended up leaving Hasbro due to creative differences. And it's obvious that if corporations can't play nice with creatives, they can't make masterpieces. Shit, I just insinuated that Friendship is Magic is a masterpiece. Video coming out soon, maybe? So, I guess the too long didn't read is that Gen 5 sucks, Gen 4 was better, go watch Friendship is Magic. But that's it. That's the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching to the end of a Friendship is Magic video in 2024. I will not be surprised if this video does not get any views. And since you're here, you might as well hit that subscribe button to fuel my mad quest for more power. But I regret to bid you all adieu. Love you. Fuck you. Stay safe. Goodbye.